Morning America, this is Zoe Mosberger reporting live from Seoul, South Korea, 30 miles from the front line of the North Korean invasion. Today is June 25th, 1950. North Korean troops launched a surprise offense over the 38th parallel. Armed with Soviet weapons, trafficking across North Korean border by Chinese leader Mao Zedong, North Korea, led by a mysterious General Kim Il-sung, aims to reunify Koreans under Kim's communist leadership, supported by Mao Zedong and Joseph Stalin. To give us more background on the crisis, I would like to introduce Professor Webster, a professor of Eastern Asian politics at Princeton University. Hello, Professor. Thank you for taking the time today to come speak with my viewers. What are the roots of the Korean War?
Well, thank you for having me. So what's crucial to understand is that the Korean invasion has causes and ramifications beyond the peninsula, and even beyond the Asia-Pacific sphere. Korea is fundamentally Joseph Stalin's pet project to experiment with the ability of communism to spread through invasion. With the creation of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO, and the beginnings of rearming Western Europe, Stalin's feeling boxed in by Western interests. He is, however, unwilling to risk outright conflict with the United States. Stalin recognizes that provoking America into direct war would likely be suicidal for the USSR, and he's using proxies to wage conflict on behalf of communism and Soviet interests throughout the world.
So why Korea? And how did we get involved there?
Well, the reason can primarily be boiled down to economics. It's crucial to keep in mind that neither the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, or North Korea, nor the Republic of Korea and South Korea have sufficient capabilities to reunify without external support. Both the US and the USSR want Korea within their sphere of influence due to the potential of Korea as a trade ally and Korea's proximity to Manchuria, which is a resource-rich region in northeast China bordering North Korea. So there you've got the motivations for the US and the USSR to engage in conflict. Both already had a presence in Korea after Japan was forced to relinquish control following its defeat in World War II, having colonized Korea in 1910. The Soviets and the US then set up a trusteeship of Korea following World War II, but disagreements over how to administer the territory forced the US and the Soviets to partition Korea at the 38th parallel, with the Soviets controlling the north and the US controlling the south. In the north, Kim Il-sung established the DPRK, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, and stockpiled Soviet weapons, beginning in 1948, when Soviet troops withdrew officially. In the south, Syngman Rhee was democratically elected and established the Republic of Korea, with American troops leaving in 1949. All that was needed in this charged environment was a spark, and Kim Il-sung, with his singular desire to reunify and rule Korea, lit the match.
Thank you, Professor. Now we turn to former diplomat Palpatine to take us through the complexities and potential consequences of this vital situation. Thank you for being here today. Could you explain to the audience what could result from this crisis?
My pleasure. While it's not uncommon for the UN to support democratic processes in struggling countries, Korea's status as a proxy war could pose some potentially threatening consequences. Given the US and USSR's nuclear capabilities, this brinkmanship could quickly escalate to war, although neither President Truman nor Stalin seem to desire war. This standoff will likely accelerate the rearmament of Western Europe to reinforce that bastion against communism. Truman likely sees Korea as an example of communist expansion and could lean heavily on his policy of containment to deal with this crisis. Both leaders will likely ramp up military spending and rattle sabers, but I don't see nuclear annihilation as a probable consequence. Far more likely is the escalation of tensions through proxies without direct confrontation. Other than the potential victory of South or North Korea in reunification, only China stands to benefit from this conflict, with the conflict serving as an opportunity for Mao to unify his subjects against a common enemy, US imperialism, as well as a way to reinforce practical ties with the Soviet Union. This invasion will also set the precedent for the invasion of West Germany by East Germany, which could also provoke the rearmament of Western Europe.
Thank you, Palpatine. We'll be back after this break with more breaking news coverage of North Korea's invasion. Thank you. Zedong and Joseph Stalin. To get more background information on this crisis, we have political scientist Professor Webster, a professor of Eastern Asian politics at Professor University with us today.
Professor University. With his his singular desire to reunify and rule Korea lit the match.
Thank you, Professor. Now we turn to diplomat, Senator.
Yo, yeah, we were so good.
It's fine. We can